guys, welcome to the Pain Points of Interest podcast with Sarah Harbuck and Courtney Duncan. Today, we want to tell the stories of people, their businesses, and the journey that they are on. Our purpose here is to gather a new perspective on starting, growing, and maintaining businesses of all sizes. So grab that cup of coffee and join us as we start this conversation. Courtney, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're so welcome. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I will say I did forget to grab my own cup of coffee. So
oh no.
So sorry.
Oh, oops. Well, yeah, that's okay.
It's Monday.
Yeah, it's Monday.
It's a good day.
We're all kind of like, it's a little bit off and yeah, Mondays. Anyway, so thank you so much for joining us. I was so excited that you agreed to be a part of this podcast because I was like, she's like a big old YouTube star. She's going to be like, nah, I don't want to do that.
I don't know about that, but thank you.
I think that's pretty true. I know it may not be like millions and millions of subscribers, but to me, anybody who has close to 100,000 is like, what? That's great. That's amazing. So anyway, how are you doing today?
I am doing fantastic.
Good.
Minus being slightly less caffeinated than I'd like to be.
I mean, I think that's all of us right now. So why don't you tell everybody just a little bit about yourself and let us get to know you?
My name's Courtney, and I have been playing around with this thing called the Curly Girl Method. Basically, it's a way to care for hair that has any kind of wave, bend, curl texture to it. That's different than how you would care for straight hair. Turns out that different types of hair have different needs. You know, walking into any grocery store and seeing the 8 million different types of shampoo will let you know that, you know, there's different types of hair out there that like different things. Anyway, I was actually teaching preschool, and it was the last week of the semester. We had semesters, and one of my coworkers came into work and her hair was so curly. And I went, oh, how'd you do that? What curling iron did you use? Your hair looks amazing today. And she laughed at me and said, no, I didn't use a curling iron. These are my natural curls. I'm doing something called the Curly Girl Method. And that was all the way back in 2018. And I was hooked. She had a book called The Curly Girl Handbook that was written by Lorraine Massey. And I read that and started learning how to care for my hair. Turns out that there's a whole science behind caring for hair that has some wave, bend, curl to it.
I knew that there was so much chemistry involved in caring for your hair properly, like especially if you have hair texture. You know, I tried to pretend like for the longest time I didn't have wavy hair. Like, no, it's just messy. It's just frizzy or whatever. And then you start really getting into it and you're like, there's like this whole thing I never even knew. I mean, I'm 41 years old and no one properly ever told me how to take care of my hair the way that it is.
There's like, so many people out there, me included, who just thought I have bad hair. I don't have straight hair and I don't have curly hair. My hair's just bad. It's frizzy. And turns out that that is actually not the case, that my hair is beautiful when I care for it in the way that it needs to be cared for. There is so much science and chemistry behind that. And I'm a little bit of a nerd. I'm supposed to be a high school chemistry teacher. I am not doing that. But it's that aspect of me that enjoys the chemistry and the science behind it, and explaining and teaching the science and chemistry behind hair to people who have just been really frustrated with their hair for a long time. So what happened is I started an Instagram account because I wanted to take pictures of my hair and then just write down, hey, I used these products and did these steps, and this is how the hair.
That's where you started, was your Instagram account.
Yep.
And documenting from the get-go.
Yep. I created a secret. I created like a separate Instagram account. I didn't want to be posting this on my private page. I literally could not find an app at the time. Maybe I just didn't research enough, but I didn't find an app that allowed me to take a picture and then record.
And you started an Instagram that
Right.
documented your progress. Because I was always curious, did you start your YouTube channel right away? But when I went back and looked at your YouTube, it's only from like the last year and like 4 or 5 months. So I was like, she must have
Right.
waited a little bit. So you were documenting on Instagram. Something must have triggered I should probably do video.
So I started on Instagram and had this tiny little account, and I didn't think anyone would see it or follow me. And all of a sudden, I started having more and more people come hang out with me and ask me questions and ask very specific questions. And the platform of Instagram at the time only gave you a 60-second video window. And there is only so much you can explain in 60 seconds.
For
And then they
sure.
started doing IGTV, and I started trying to upload videos on there. And for whatever reason, people weren't getting the information in an efficient way like they needed. Like nobody was seeing the videos, so they weren't helping anybody.
Right, right.
So I had, long time ago, played around with putting videos on YouTube. I used to be a professional barrel racer. That's a sport in rodeo where you ride horses and run around 3 trash cans. Whoever does it the fastest wins. It's so much fun.
Well, if you've been to any rodeo you've ever seen, that's a regular common thing. So
yeah, it really is.
Texas, y'all.
Heck yes, West Texas. But I cannot tell you how many people I've told that I did barrel racing, and they're like, oh, is that where you like roll a barrel down a hill and see if you can outrun it? Like, what is barrel racing?
Oh no.
I'm like, okay. So anyway, it is a sport with horses. And I would film my runs and then put them on YouTube to share them with friends and family. And
So you had a bit of a background already,
but
with
not
YouTube.
but not on a professional level. Like now YouTube can be a profession for people.
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
what they do.
Yeah.
I just had the YouTube account and had some old videos on there, and I thought, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change the YouTube channel to be for hair stuff. Like that just seemed the easiest thing to me. And it was a longer platform. I was better able to edit and condense down and present complicated information in a sort of concise way. And then people started being able to find the videos and use them and reference them back. It was just easier for them to find the information that they needed. So yeah, I started on Instagram and then uploaded some on YouTube.
Well, I mean, that's a natural progression. You know, I think for a lot of people, taking pictures of something and then going, okay, it actually involves a lot more demonstration. So I'm going to need to use video.
Yes.
One of the things that I've always been impressed with when I found your channel, and I found your channel because I came back from this destination wedding. My hair was a wreck from being at the ocean and swimming in a pool every day and just the salty sea air. It was like I had taken a bale of hay and put it on my head, and I had to like deep condition a couple of times when I came home, and I was like, I'm so sick of my hair. I'm ready to shave my head. This is ridiculous. And I started doing some research, and you know how it is when you get on the internet, you just kind of travel down this wormhole forever.
Oh,
and
there's so much information out there. So much.
Yes,
it's crazy.
And you're overwhelmed. And so I found this website, and I took this little quiz, and it told me what my hair type was. And I posted on Instagram in my Instagram story, oh my goodness, I'm 41 years old, and I finally discovered I have a hair type and it needs to be cared for a certain way. And a friend of mine saw that, and she's got like really curly hair, like 3C, 4A, you know, really curly. And she said,
So
you
nice.
should probably, you need to look up SwavyCurlyCourtney on YouTube. You guys have similar kind of hair type-ish, like you're in the same ballpark. You might can learn some things from her, and she'll have a whole lot of tips for you if you're going to start this journey. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I found your channel, and like, I think I've watched like at least 80% of the videos that are on there at this point.
You are a brave woman. There are one or two on there at this point. My goodness.
I just kind of was like, all right, I'm going to just absorb all the information, you know? So as I'm watching your videos, I'm thinking there's a lot of work that's been put into these, because you'll not only do like an explanation, but you'll demonstrate with actual product in the tub. You're clothed, by the way, so anybody knows.
Hanging
She's flipped
over
over
the tub. Yeah.
under the faucet. So why don't you kind of give everybody sort of an idea of, if you're going to record a video for the week and have it demonstrate whatever that particular topic is that particular week, what all is involved? Like, how many hours do you put into not only recording, but editing and then social media that accompanies it? Because that's like a full-time job.
It is.
And you were doing this as a hobby. So.
Yes, I'm doing this as a hobby. I do have a full-time job. Even while I was doing preschool, that was my second job. I'm no longer teaching preschool, which is kind of sad because I miss my little kiddos. But I have a full-time job where I work from home. And so the YouTube and the Instagram and the hair was so fun for me. That was an escape for me. That is where I went to go let my nerdy brain just have so much fun. And how it started is I felt like doing a whole video of a complete wash day process, meaning that I would show how my hair started. I would wash it, do several treatments. I would show exactly how I put all these products in my hair, and then I would show the results, and that was just going to be for fun. Like, here is the entire process, start to finish. And even just washing your hair, it's funny. I used to think it was funny when women would say, sorry, I can't come out, I'm washing my hair tonight. But now, like, no, it's a thing. Like,
it's a legit thing.
This whole routine is not quick and easy when you are not using extreme heat on your hair to mold it and sculpt it into a shape that it doesn't want to go naturally. First video, and it was like, I called it the works, because there's times when you do less to your hair and you just kind of do the bare minimum. And there are times when you pull out all the stops and you do all the things. Well, I thought it would be fun to record doing all the things. Yeah. And people really appreciated seeing the whole process. To give you a little bit of an idea of so it started with the one video, and people really loved it. They found it really, really helpful. And so I felt like, okay, well, I guess there's other things that people have questions about, and a full length, in-depth visual process would be so helpful. When I started doing my own research and going on YouTube and looking for videos that were helpful, I found some people that did the whole process, like Curly Susie, like India Batson, like, I think her name's Aisha, but she's called Spicia.
Yeah, I think so.
It's really cute.
Yeah.
But there would just be, I kept feeling like, but then what do you do? Mm-hmm. So this is how you dry your hair, but how did you do this part? And there were just holes missing. And then the more I did it, the more tips and tricks I figured out for my hair in particular. And the more I did it, the more I began to see what could possibly be helpful to somebody else with a slightly different hair type. And you learn more and more and more about the ingredients that are in your products and how they affect your hair. And I just kept learning because I kept enjoying it. And then what did I do? How did it go from there? Do you have any questions?
Well, I think I had asked earlier, if you're going to record a video and then edit a video, yes, and all the, planning it kind of, I mean, obviously in the beginning you just sort of did whatever.
Did the thing.
Now you have very specific themes for each video. How much time does it take to, start a video from start to finish, filming, editing, and preparing for social media? How does that, because you're doing, like you said, you do this as a hobby, kind of, and you're kind of turning it into a business. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of work that you are doing out of the kindness of your heart to share your knowledge with the rest of us. What does that look like for you?
So there was a time when I was choosing and able to record and upload 3 videos a week. Oh, wow. And I was bursting. This was a year ago. I was completely bursting at the seams with ideas. And you may not notice from this podcast because I'm having issues today, but it is easy for me to sit down and just divulge all my information. So oddly enough, I would get an idea for a video and I would just write it down in a note. And then when I felt like sitting down and recording, I would be able to just look up the note because I had been doing so much research, sit down, give the information, film it, and then if it's a video where I am demonstrating the washing styling process, those videos take much, much longer. If the video is where I'm just sitting down talking, those are much faster to record. So in a video where I'm demonstrating the hair washing process, like let's say I really enjoy using all products from one brand and showing exactly how that entire line works in my hair so that people can maybe look at what worked and what didn't and then decide which products from that line they want to try themselves. In a one brand wash day, those usually take about 6 hours to film. Now, granted, there are pauses in there. So I will sit down, do the intro. That can take me anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes to film. Then I will do the setup and washing process, demonstrating everything, hanging over my tub. And that's fun because if that takes a while, then you've hung upside down for 30 minutes. Then there is the diffusing process, which is all something I would be doing on a normal day while washing my hair. I just happen to be having pauses for setup in between that happen to make the process take longer. If I'm not filming, I can wash and style my hair in 30 minutes. But if I am filming it, it takes far longer because there's explanation and whatnot. Then there's the drying process, and the drying process with my blow dryer takes about 30 minutes, but then I have to finish letting it air dry, which can be anywhere from an hour to 2 hours. And once it's fully dry, then I come back and film the scrunching, fluffing, final reveal results of the hair. And if I'm being really dedicated, I will come back the next morning for a one brand wash day and show how the products held up over time. So you are getting even more information. That was something I had not seen anyone else do a lot of on the YouTube space.
Sorry.
Is everything okay, Mom?
My husband's trying to take some pictures.
I see him now. He's making an exasperated face.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry, Courtney.
So the demonstration videos they take a long time. Each time I have to sit down and set up the camera, it can be a lot. Now, granted, when I started, I was just using my iPhone. Setup was so easy. I had to film when the sun was up and that was about it. Any free time during the day I could find, I could just throw the phone up on the step stool that I had set up in front of my window and film. But now I've been doing this for a while and I'm starting to really enjoy learning about how to improve the qualities of my videos, and that is entailing more setup. So the editing process, when I could do it really, really fast, I could just blister through an edit. It would take me 4 hours. Uploading the video to YouTube itself, we have really nice fast internet where I live. Thank you,
lucky.
Dear sweet husband.
You are lucky.
We are lucky. I feel so grateful. Even with having the blistering fast internet, it takes 30 to 45 minutes to get the video onto YouTube. Mm-hmm. And even in that process, typing up the description, finding the product links, making sure everything is correct, it can take an hour to an hour and a half to make sure that I'm not missing anything. And I add little notes in the video and cards and things like that. Then I'm not very organized. When I feel like I have this burning information that I need to share with someone, I will do it. So unfortunately, I'm not keeping everything so organized in between YouTube and Instagram. I would, so when I get an idea for an Instagram post, I just post it. And they're separate. Like if you're a good YouTuber, what you do is you upload a video and then promote it on every single one of your social media platforms, including Instagram. Half the time I remember to do that and half the time I don't. So it's almost like I'm creating content for two separate platforms because I'm not.
That can be good and bad because you're
efficient.
offering, several different things all at the same time. So,
Right.
so it's the train of thought that it doesn't have to match.
Right.
I mean, what I'm hearing in you describing the process is, even though YouTube is, you say it's just a hobby and maybe you want to turn it more into a business type thing. I mean, it is still kind of a full-time job. And that, I mean,
Yeah.
I watch a lot of YouTubers, and that's pretty much the thing I hear echoed through everybody who does YouTube is it's kind of your everyday. It's
Yes. What I appreciate about it is that it's flexible. It's something that I can do and then take my kiddo to swim lessons. I'm not tied to a desk from 9 to 5. What happened is the more videos I just kept going. I just kept doing it. I kept uploading photos to Instagram. More and more people started hanging out with me. I started getting invited to do Instagram lives with some bigger accounts. More and more people started watching my YouTube videos. Then they just exploded on Facebook's. Wow. On Facebook in curly girl forums. So there's like private groups where people discuss the whole science behind the curly girl method. And people were finding my videos so helpful that they were sharing them on Facebook. And that just drove traffic like crazy. All of a sudden, I became monetized on YouTube and I went, what? Whoa, what? Huh? I'm monetized? What is this? And basically what it is when there's a company called AdSense that manages the advertisements that are on YouTube videos. And there's a lot of analytics and everything that go into that. But basically, every time an ad pops up, the content creator, the person who put the video up on YouTube, gets a tiny portion of that.
fraction. A fraction of a fraction of a fraction.
It's so bad. But basically, I'm getting rewarded for drawing traffic to YouTube. And the more traffic I can draw and the longer people watch my videos, the more the YouTube algorithm likes it. And all of a sudden, then that became a fun new thing to learn. I had learned all the fun things about curly hair. And honestly, it was my husband who was more interested in the monetization. He's like, wait. All this time you're spending can be monetized. And I'm like, well, yeah, but I really don't know what I'm doing and I don't know how to do it well. And I know there's a bunch of videos on the internet and so much information on the internet about how to do this more efficiently and better. But honestly, I just want to play with the hair stuff. And he's like, cool, I'll learn about this.
Oh, that's great.
And so he started learning better ways to optimize growth on the YouTube channel. And there was just a few little things that I did that really helped. There's an app called TubeBuddy. There's several, but I used TubeBuddy and it allowed me to figure out how to use the correct tags. It incentivizes you, like it gives you a little checklist, and I love a good checklist. And so I would do all these checklists for every single video that help boost it in the YouTube algorithm, that also help me share it on other platforms efficiently. And it just using that and knowing there's a keyword explorer on it so that you can figure out what phrases people are most searching for, and it shows you the niche, the gap that needs to be filled. Now, granted, I was about as niched down as you could possibly be because not only am I doing the curly girl method, which is largely focused on women, because women, there are men who do the curly girl method and they do it beautifully, but the large percentage are female. So niche there. Curly girl method, niche down some more, because not every woman on the planet wants to wear their hair in its natural state. Not only am I that, but I'm also somebody with a very, very specific hair type in that niche, which is not a tight curl pattern. And it's really funny. I have had several companies reach out to me and want to work with me, and they go, wait a second, you don't have curly hair. And I'm like, well, I know, it's in my name. It's SwavyCurlyCourtney, SwavyCurlyCourtney. S waves are a type of wave, a type of curl. They're a pattern of the curl. Like, I'm like, it's literally in my name.
Yeah.
So I'm a curly girl who doesn't have curly hair that is able to help teach.
Wow. Well, what I appreciate about your channel and your videos is because there's a lot of ladies out there who have really tight curl patterns. They're beautiful. Mains by Mel. She's real popular on YouTube.
And I love her.
She's got a beautiful head of hair, but it's like, it's like really, I mean, she's ethnic diverse, so she's got this great hair and it's really curly.
What's really cool is she's just Italian. She's
I know.
Great Italian. But, it's fantastic. But a very specific kind of hair type that needs different things than wavy hair needs.
Right. And I love listening to her and I love watching her, but it's like her hair is so different than mine that it's like, what's going to work for her is not going to work for me. I mean, I can learn techniques from her, but I'm probably not going to be able to use any of the products she's, portraying, because they're going to be way too heavy for my hair. So I appreciated you having a channel that kind of focused more on, finer, less, massive amounts of hair. I mean, you do have more hair than I do, but like, you're closer to the spectrum of what I have. And so it's nice to watch somebody's videos and learn from them who are more, their hair looks more like yours. Whereas I love Mel and I love Susie. They're great and they give a lot of information, but their hair type is so different than mine that it's kind of like, I'm really just watching them more for like, how did they do it? What can I learn? What are they doing differently? Yeah. So I think that there's room for a lot of diversity in the market for you guys, having all the different types of people. It's really hard for me as a person with really low density hair. I don't really have, I have very thin hair, to find people doing videos that,
cater to that hair type.
Yeah. So it's nice to see a broader spectrum of people and not just, one particular person where, and Mains by Mel, she's an actual hairdresser. So she also has that knowledge to kind of deal out as well. So it's if you want to know more of that side of it, how do you style your hair rather than just wash it and all that stuff. So that's what I love about you. And you also have this very, you said that you teach preschool, or you taught preschool, and you were supposed to be a high school chemistry teacher. That shines so through in all of the things that you do, because you have this very natural way of kind of educating people. Personally, I like the style in which you do it, because it's very conversational. It's not like I'm really being taught something, but you're teaching something and you're doing it in such a succinct way that it feels like, oh, that's natural. Like okay, cool. Like, so
and
that's great.
What is so fascinating to me is I'm really grateful, because I feel like I started learning about this right before everybody else wanted to start learning about it. So it's like I had the opportunity to help someone, and
and ride the wave as it came through.
Yes. And I don't think that has anything to do with me, but the being able to be there and help people is what really, I think, is what caused the success of the YouTube channel to be what it is. It's that when I see, I don't know how to word this. We're probably going to have to cut all that out. But basically, like, when people become an influencer, it's like they literally set out to become an influencer.
Yes.
And that's not
your goal. Your goal is to help people.
When that, I'm not going to lie, I am a very achievement driven person. And you want to believe that numbers of likes and comments and things like that really scratched an itch for me.
Sure.
But I realized how bad that was for me in the long run, to only be chasing likes and comments and views and the monetization. People smell that inauthenticity 10 miles away and they run straight. Also, it would be inauthentic of me.
Yeah.
And it's something that I have to stop and reevaluate with myself every single day. I have to not let my purpose in this be to create a business and grow myself and glorify the wavy haired Courtney. No, like the whole point is to take someone who is really struggling with their hair, and hair is a big deal to self-esteem. And when you have low self-esteem in your hair, because I don't want anyone to have that. So the whole goal has been to be helpful. And when my goal is really centered there on giving the most helpful information possible so that someone else isn't frustrated, that is when it grew. When there were times when it became more Courtney focused, and those are the times that it suffered, and I suffered mentally and the growth of the platform or whatever.
And I think for me, I gravitate more back to your channel, even though I follow a bunch of hair people now, because of that authenticity. You know, she's not doing this just to make money, although now hearing every single bit of work that goes into it, all the hours, all the planning and all the things that you have to do. I mean, you deserve to make some money off of it.
I wouldn't be able to do this if I weren't being financially compensated. It would not be physically possible for me to do this out of the goodness of my heart. Well, it is out of the goodness.
Yeah, but we get you.
We understand. I want to go back to something that you said though. So you're making some monetization off of YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
You get sponsored by the products that you talk about. Now I'm a layman. I don't really watch your videos. I don't know much about you except for what mom has told me. So, you know, I don't know if you do sponsored videos. I don't know if you get sent PR packages or whatnot. Is that a part of the YouTube for you?
That's a good question. I didn't even think to ask that.
So I am not a good YouTuber. Most YouTubers have a finely oiled machine where they never upload a video unless it's sponsored, and there's a whole wave of advertisement that's now happening between companies and people who have a following on social media. It's a new way to market, and I do not know how to do that well. Okay. I am finding out the longer I do this, the more friends I make that also have large followings. And I'm hearing that, Courtney, quit working for free. Yeah. You need to quit talking about products for free. But the way this works is Amazon.com has an amazing affiliate program.
I hear about that.
Well, it was a whole lot better, but I think they no longer need their affiliates to drive traffic. So they're cutting the percentages of commissions that they pay, but you sign up for that. And so anytime I link a product, it is an affiliate link that is disclosed fully in the description. So it's not like I'm hiding anything. Everybody knows that if you click on this link, I might get a small commission if you choose to purchase. Mm-hmm. So my largest source of income is from AdSense, then Amazon affiliates, and then my sponsored posts. Companies are kind enough to reach out to me and send me product. And there has been the occasion when I have done a sponsored post. It's always very well marked. It's actually by law, you have to.
Yeah. There are a lot of YouTubers who won't disclose those things, and
that's illegal.
Yeah, it is. I watch a couple of commentary or drama channels, and that is a big point of contention of like YouTubers who don't disclose that they're literally being sponsored. And so I'm glad to hear that you're like doing it the legal way.
I think I didn't know this, but honestly, I'm incredibly grateful, because right before I started having the opportunities to work with companies, my Instagram was still small, my YouTube was still very small. graciously enough, I heard somebody talking about this in an Instagram live. They were saying that, guys, watch out. You have to follow these rules. I didn't even know there were laws or rules that existed. So I became aware of it before it became an issue for me. And so I was always able to do it the right way round.
Yeah, perfect.
I think that some people have no idea that you are supposed to disclose, hey, hashtag ad, hashtag sponsored.
Yeah.
What I think is really adorable about you is that you're so also kind of trepidatious about,
yes,
this video is sponsored by so-and-so. Sorry. Like, it's kind of like, I didn't really want to have to, but not that you're not excited about that brand. You totally are. But it's kind of this apologetic, yeah, it's sponsored this time, and you're like, oh, it's okay, girl. Like, you got to make money. It's fine.
I really appreciate that you have that attitude. I am not as kind and as gracious as you. I have been a long time consumer of content on YouTube and Instagram, and every time I saw one of those hashtag sponsored, hashtag ad, I'm like,
well, I think because you do it so infrequently. I guess if every video was sponsored, it would be a little bit like, okay, this feels like a long commercial, Yes. So, but because you don't do it all the time, it's like, and you're so apologetic about it. I was like, she's just so cute about it. It's so adorable that he's like, I'm sorry, I sponsored this video. Like, girl, like, you got to make the money how you can, especially when you're spending so much time and putting so much of your energy into helping other people. Like, there's nothing wrong with being compensated for your knowledge, especially when you spent all that time doing all the guesswork for us and going, okay, this is what works and what doesn't, like it's,
and I'm growing to learn that and accept that. It is, I thankfully have the freedom to turn down a lot of offers. And I have made it my personal goal to only share good products. And so I allow myself to, I don't like the way I'm wording this.
You can start over if you want.
She's so like, I love it. Just be you. It's cool. Like, just say it.
This is interesting. I can talk all day about hair, but like the business side of social media, I'm like,
but it's something that I think that people need to hear.
Right. This is information that is helpful. I can't remember where I heard this. I believe it was on another podcast, but they made it, it's almost like they approached it backwards. A lot of people see these influencers start to have some success and get sent free product and get paid to post about it. And that's what they start chasing. They start chasing getting the product and chasing getting the sponsorships. And the way she talked about it backwards. She was saying, don't work at it that way. Buy the product with your own money and then use the product, then talk about the product, then keep doing it that way. And then the following will follow, because people smell the inauthenticity. And so that is why I'm so hesitant to even talk about sponsored things. I absolutely flat refuse to do a sponsored